Hey everyone, so today we are writing this reflective expository activity. Now with this activity we're going to use the two articles we read last week. So those articles were A Measure of a Hero and Books Allow Kids Facing Adversity to Feel Like Superheroes. Now with these two things I would have open everything that had to do with those articles last week. So have open the article 5.1.2, have open the main idea for the first article 5.1.3, have open 5.1.5 and 5.1.6. All of the ones that we or you used last week to help you in understanding these texts, and then move into the assignment. Now it's in Canvas, but I've also copied it into a Google Doc. Now this is going to be expository writing. Now the assignment calls for one paragraph. It may end up being a rather long paragraph, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be longer than one long paragraph. You can space it out if you feel the need, but the way it's set up, it should work perfectly fine. So again, expository writing is writing to explain. We are not persuading anyone today. Now, our assignment is you are a social scientist and your job is to solve the mystery of heroism using information from both articles to write a report that explains the backstory of why people like Balwina, who saved Sam, and Balaji, who helps kids choose to act like superheroes. So the first thing you want to do without anything else, without me in any way, is answer these questions right here, or try your best to answer these three questions. Use your assignments from last week, the articles from last week, and then if you need help with any of them, this table down here will work to help you with any of those right there. Following that, once you kind of have it fresh in your brain, kind of an idea of everything again, you're then going to just work through the struggle, the science of kindness, and the conclusion. Just one step after another. Make sure that you are introducing a struggle that somebody is facing in one of these two articles. Make sure that you introduce the kindness that you see in one of these articles. And really the kindness is mainly seen in Oliner's article, but nevertheless. And then make sure that you provide a conclusion, explain how the stories or the research help create more heroes in the world. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, with the struggle, you need at least one complex sentence. It needs to start with because or since, a Swabe word, right? With the science of kindness, you need at least one compound sentence. You need and, but, or so. And then with the conclusion, you need at least one complex starting with although or while. Now, although is not one of our Swabe words, but it is a very well-known subordinate conjunction. I went through every single thing there. So these three things. Now with the struggle, again, describe a challenge faced by Sam Oliner or the kids Oyejade writes about. So I would start off like this. This is kind of how I started off my paper. And here's my R for my RTQT, right? So people from all different areas of the world choose to act like superheroes. I don't care if this is the one part you take from me, that's fine. But if I start to see anything else from what I wrote here, I'll know and I'll count off. But so then I want to go into challenges, right? Or struggles or something along those lines. So they're faced with many challenges that drive them to act like a hero or fall victim to their struggles. One such example is Sam Oliner, who was hunted by the Nazis during World War II. See, I'm starting to introduce this struggle. Since Sam was in danger from the Nazis, he had to hide his true identity. This act forced a neighbor, Balwina, to become a hero by protecting Sam when she would have otherwise lived normal life. And then we move into, from there, if you wanted to start another paragraph, or you can just continue writing, but like the R is already done, so we're not continuing our TQTs, okay? Keep that in mind. But for this, we want to just continue writing. So the next part of our writing here is going to be the science of kindness. So then, since we've already started with the Oliner article to explain what makes a rescuer different from a bystander. So use altruism, use empathy. So what about her, right, allowed her to be so helpful? Here we have Balwina felt a deep sense of empathy, so she risked her life to protect him. But you're going to also have to talk about how she did that. So that won't be enough. I'd have to add something else to it. I don't like that at all, that it's not. There. I don't like at all that like, so she risked her life to protect them. One of the ways she did this was, and then kind of go into one of the ways that she did it. And then finally, you want to conclude it and just talk about how it's still going on in the world today. Like how are we creating more heroes in the world today? Now, both articles offer an excellent way in how we're continuing to make heroes. Oliner talks about altruism, and with the altruism just basically being like unselfish people are out there and they'd rather put themselves before others. And there are countless examples of this. They're talked about in the article, but also you can think of some on your own. And Ajide, in his article, a hero is born every minute because they're just dealing with everyday struggles. So it might be more relatable to run into the everyday struggles, but it's a little trickier if you want to introduce the Ajide article, because if you haven't mentioned it ahead of time, you're just going to have to bring up like, yes, Oliner is one of the ways, but another way is Ajide, and then go into something from his article or something like that. Never has a video probably been more important than today's video. So I hope that you watched this. I hope that you got a lot from this, and I hope that you are able to walk through this. But at the end of the day, what you are doing here is you are writing a report that explains why people choose to act like superheroes. Why do people choose to act like superheroes? Okay. And they choose to act like superheroes because, and then you go through these 3 things and why they choose to act like superheroes, and then you're good to go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you don't finish this is probably going to be the main assignment for tomorrow during our virtual day. However, I do want you to at least practice some grammar skills as well tomorrow, and I'll have another video talking about that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, everybody.